Dear friends, our reflection on this third Sunday of Lent is based on the Holy Gospel according to St. John chapter 2 verses 13 to 25. Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of trade, is what Jesus told the people those desecrated the temple. Today, I think these words of Jesus are addressed to each one of us. Jesus is posing a question before us. Have we ever made the temple of God a house of trade? St. Paul, in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 16, says, Do you not know that you are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwells in you? For God's temple is holy, and that temple you are. Yes, friends, if we know that we are the temple of God, we also know that we have many times desecrated this temple through our own sins. And today, Jesus is inviting each one of us to cleanse our own selves, to cleanse this temple, so to make it pure and holy. It required a lot of courage and determination from the part of Christ to enter into the temple and chase the sellers and the money changers with a whip of cords. So also it demands a lot of courage from each one of us to enter into our own selves and chase everything with a whip of cords that keep us away from God, that desecrate us. And it's not merely enough to cleanse ourselves, but we ought to replace it with God. We ought to replace it with good. And what happens if we don't do that? What happens if we leave it empty? Jesus himself tells us in the Gospel of Matthew about the danger of not replacing bad with good. He says, when an unclean spirit goes out of a man, it goes to waterless places seeking for a place of rest, and finding no place, it returns to the place where it left. And in its return, it finds that the house is empty, swept, and kept in order. Then it goes and brings other 7 spirits which are more evil than itself. They come, enter, and make their dwelling. And the last state of that man becomes worse than the first. Therefore, we ought to be vigilant. We ought to keep watch, because our enemy, the devil, is prowling around like a roving lion, looking for someone to eat. Stand up to him, strong in faith. Yes, dear friends, may this Lenten journey help us to cleanse our own selves through the sacrament of reconciliation, and may help us to keep God at the center of our lives. May God bless all of us. Amen.